And we'll go next to Alan in Cape Canaveral, Florida, not far from Orlando. Good evening, Alan.
Hey, how you doing?
We're doing fine. So tell me what you heard tonight. Tell our audience what you heard and your reaction to the president's kickoff for 2020.
Well, I first wanted to say that I had a dream 22 years ago that Donald Trump would be president, and you would not believe the number of people before the 2016 election said that they had comparable dreams. And this man has truly brought hope. And I believe that the news media has been trying to tear down that hope and take the Trump supporter away from supporting Donald Trump.
Explain that dream. What do you remember about it?
Donald Trump was considering running for president in 1997, from what I understand now. But it was a dream that Donald Trump was in the Trump Tower and that he was being bugged and spied on. And his security agents came and got him and helped him move out of the Trump Tower. And that's exactly what happened, you know, prior to being inaugurated. He had to move out of the Trump Tower. And that was confirmation for me that he was supposed to be president and that he would be one of the most picked on presidents of all time.
Alan, thank you. We'll go to outside the Amway Center in Orlando, and Steve Holland of Reuters saying that the Trump rally in Orlando timing out to about an hour and 20 minutes. Abigail is joining us from Grand Junction, Colorado. Good evening to you, Abigail. Your thoughts about the speech tonight?
There's just a terrific president there. I used to be a Democrat, and I couldn't stand the idea of having me support some, the lunacy of them. I think he's a terrific president. He's the only president I know of that really loves America. And so, I'm glad to vote for him again and keep up the good work.
And Abigail, the president talked about his campaign slogan, Make America Great, Keep America Great. What do you think he should use?
Well, I'm going to leave it up to him, of course, but, keep on making America great.
Thank you for the call. Next is Ayuda joining us from Palm Harbor, Florida. And you're from a key state where the president is kicking off his re-election campaign. Good evening to you.
Hi.
What did you hear
tonight? What would you
tonight?
like to ask me? I didn't need to even actually hear anything tonight. I already knew it. I just, I think that he just delivers every tone of patriotism, military, USA, the flag, all the things that I knew. I was growing up when I was born in the 60s and grew up through the 80s and into the 90s and the 2000s. Best president ever. I think that actually this might go on to something bigger to Mike Pence, on the ticket after Trump. And then I think Marco Rubio might be the VP after that. That's what I think.
Thank you for the call. Vice President Mike Pence joining the president at this campaign rally and reaffirming that the former Indiana governor will continue as his running mate in 2020. He was selected in the summer of 2016. We're hearing from Trump supporters only. 202 is the area code, 748-8920 for those in the Eastern or Central time zones, and 202-748-8921. Next is Chad joining us from Olympia, Washington. Good evening, Chad.
Hey, good evening. How are you?
We're doing great. What about the speech tonight?
Speech was incredible. Country's never been better. It'll never be better. Hey, just the baseball's life. Life is baseball. It's all about stats. Add everything up. 1 + 1 = 2. It's basic math. Trump rules.
Well, let me stay on the line for a minute. I want to share with you. This is an editorial from the Orlando Sentinel. Has been getting a lot of attention. It was posted on the Drudge Report, and the headline is, Our Orlando Sentinel endorsement for president in 2020, not Donald Trump. And they write the following: enough of the chaos, the division, the schoolyard insults, the corruption, and especially the lies. So many lies, from white lies to whoppers told out of ignorance, laziness, recklessness, expediency, or opportunity. Trump's capacity for lying isn't the surprise here, though the frequency is. It's the tolerance of so many Americans have for the lies. When you hear that editorial, your reaction?
My reaction is we need to have a little bit more on the right side newscasting and media, and not so much on the left side, so the truth can be told, or at least tell both sides if you're going to tell both. If you're going to tell one side, if you're going to be part of the media.
Where do you go for news and information, Chad?
Well, I try to go to Fox. I go to the CBS and those channels just to hear the left side, because but usually I try to go to Fox.
Chad, thanks for the call from Olympia, Washington. And again, the scene outside the Amway Center in Orlando, of course, part of the I-4 corridor, which is key to winning the Sunshine State, a state that Donald Trump won narrowly over Hillary Clinton in 2016. Bobby Jean from Santa Monica, California, another supporter of President Trump. Your reaction to his kickoff rally tonight for re-election?
Hi. I thought it was a great speech. He is certainly a great American and loves his country. He's had a lot of work to do because the former one did not like our country. And he's been able to withstand all the terrible treatment that he has been getting from the leftist side. And I just pray that he wins the next election. It may be one of my last elections. I've lived 84 years, and I just can't think of him not winning, and we have to be under the jurisdiction of the other party. It would be horrible.
Bobby Jean, let me follow up on 2 points. First of all, why do you say that former President Obama did not like this country?
Just by his actions and his words. Many times, if you listen to his speeches, he came right out and said things. They went to he and his wife went to flag burnings and things like that. He hated our country. I'm sorry, but he never liked our country.
And where did you get the information that he had gone to flag burnings? I'm just curious.
That came over the news, over actually my computer.
And how does Donald Trump get reelected? From your standpoint, living in California, watching this campaign, what do you think he needs to do?
Well, you know the fight that I have to put up here in California. I feel quite alone, you know. And I sent him a birthday card, and I says, I can't wait to put your big, beautiful picture up in my living room again, like I did last time. I drove all the limousine liberals out here crazy. And I am trying to find out how I can work for him and campaign for him and so on. And he has a hard time here in California. You know California. And I'm not a Californian. I came from the East Coast, so it's been very difficult for me. But I guess just keep visiting all the cities and showing his true interest in the people. And I don't know any other way, just, to be with the people.
Bobby Jean, thanks for the call from Santa Monica, California. We'll go next to Mike in Mountain Grove, Missouri. Good evening, Mike. First of all, why do you support Donald Trump?
I support Donald Trump because he loves this country, and it's obvious, you can tell. I supported Trump for the first election in 2016 and definitely will support him in 2020. I really appreciate him nominating Bob Barr, who will get to the bottom of this deep state problem.
and the terrific division that these people had caused by refusing to accept an election result.
And in the speech tonight by President Trump, what did you hear? Anything new? Any new policies? What do you think his message should be moving into 2020?
You hear about hope. You hear about he's concerned about people in this country and what happens to them. You know, it's just not, we've got to go on this agenda because this makes us look good with a lot of people. He's looking out for the whole population. He's not looking out for a few scattered branches that constantly complain about everything.
Mike, thanks for the call. We'll go. Says, quote, "Together we are breaking the most sacred rule in Washington politics. We are keeping our promises to the American people because my only special interest is you." Your reaction to that tweet?
Absolutely. I mean, tears can come to your eyes when you think of that. I mean, he is just passionate about the American public. You know, he wants America to be united once again. That's why we are the United States of America.
Now, there have been a number of recent polls indicating that in some of the battleground states, President Trump is underwater, with either Bernie Sanders or Joe Biden or even Elizabeth Warren defeating him in states like Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida. Again, they're early primary and early hypothetical matchup polls. But when you look at those numbers, any concern about the president in his reelection campaign?
Well, I'm not a political analyst by any means, but I mean, people's minds will change and they will understand that, you know, Mr. Trump, our president, is making America and keeping his promises great. So, I mean, and that kudos, Mr. President. Let's go for 2020 and go America.
Thanks for the call from Cheyenne, Wyoming. We'll go next to Gail, who is on the air in San Jose, California. Another supporter of the president. A lot of California calls tonight. Good evening, Gail.
Hi. Good evening.
Good evening to you. So you watched the president's speech in its entirety? 1 hour and 20 minutes?
Absolutely. Wouldn't miss it for anything.
And
I think, as an American, I am so grateful to be alive and watch a president of this caliber during my lifetime.
how would you compare him to previous Republican presidents?
There is, well, maybe Reagan, but honestly, there is no comparison. This president has no agenda other than making America great. He doesn't give us any of the BS. He's straightforward. We can believe what he says because he's not painting anything the colors he thinks we want it to be. He's not a people pleaser. He's an aggressive man who has America on his mind. We're just so lucky to have him.
Gail, it was actually 4 years ago this week on June 16th in 2015 that Donald Trump came down the escalator at Trump Tower, formally announcing his candidacy for the Republican nomination that year. Do you remember the moment and what you were thinking then and how you compare that with your thoughts today as the 45th president?
When I saw him coming down the escalator, I hadn't decided about him yet. I had to watch him for a while, and honestly, in the beginning, I didn't take him serious because I didn't know that much about him. But as time went on, and I listened to what he wanted to do and the things he was exposing, I became a very strong supporter of his and actually worked the poll lines for him. And I hope to do that again in 20.
Gail, thanks for the call. And real quickly, your reaction to Vice President Mike Pence, although no surprise, but he will be his running mate again. What has he brought to the administration?
I think he compliments the president. He's a supporter of him, and he supports him from the background and is not trying to show and get the votes for himself. And I like that. He supports the president in a very conservative way.
Gail, thank you for the call and for weighing in. We'll go next to